A Millionaire's Heartwarming Turn, discover how love blossomed with a poor girl at a bus stop. The downpour was relentless, drumming a hypnotic rhythm against the pavement as Jack stood at the bus stop, waiting for his luxury car that felt more like a gilded cage. The gleaming skyscrapers of his city rose majestically around him, but the weight in his chest felt heavy. Here he was, a millionaire in a world stacked with money and power, yet longing for something deeper, a connection that seemed as distant as the clouds engulfing the sky. Strangers rushed past, umbrellas blooming like flowers, but Jack's heart was a closed door, locked and rusting. Just then, a splash of color caught his eye. A young woman named Lily stood nearby, her vibrant handmade crafts spread out on a small table, the colors screaming against the gray backdrop. She was a whirlwind of artistry and youth, laughter echoing through the rain, a bright beacon in Jack's duller universe. Curiosity compelled him to approach, drawn by the way her smile seemed to cut through the storm. "Hey there. Nice crafts," he called out, genuinely impressed. She beamed, her eyes sparkling like the raindrops around her. "Thanks. I make them to help my family," she replied, her voice full of life. "My mom's single, and I kinda have to pitch in." Jack felt a tug at his heartstrings, something he hadn't felt in ages. Their exchange brought him down from his elated tower of success to the reality of struggle and resilience. As they talked, Lily spoke of her dreams of going to art school, her voice dancing with hope. "I want to create things that make people smile," she said, her hands animatedly illustrating her visions. And then Jack felt an itch in his chest, a reminder of board meetings and profit margins swallowing his own dreams. Here he was, stuck in a world of numbers, while she painted a vibrant future with sheer will. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Lily's strength cracked through the armor of Jack's corporate facade. They shared stories of their lives, incongruous in so many ways yet woven together by the common thread of dreams dashed by circumstance. He felt alive again, laughter bubbling up like effervescent champagne. But then, shadows crept in. The disapproving whispers of his wealthy family echoed in the recesses of his mind, reminding him that love for those beneath him was unacceptable. Days turned into weeks, their bond blossoming like spring flowers. Jack found himself enchanted by her authenticity, but an undercurrent of fear grew within him. When a major business deal loomed on the horizon, he instinctively pushed Lily away, thinking it was for her protection. The sting of rejection shattered her, yet she couldn't understand that his heart had never strayed. As Jack donned his suit for the elegant gala meant to seal the deal, he felt trapped. Surrounded by polished smiles and empty chatter, he faced a crisis. Memories of Lily's laughter echoed in his mind. Could he really silence that joy for the sake of prestige? Just as he took a step forward, everything hung in the balance. Could he embrace a world where love conquered all? But the looming presence of his family cast a dark shadow as they eyed him with disdain. Standing between the two worlds, Jack felt the weight of his choices press down. What would he do for love? Would he have the courage to choose the uncertain path? And as he turned to find Lily, his heart pounding, a voice cut through the air. His own family, laden with judgment. Suddenly, the rain fell heavier, mirroring the storm within him. Would his pursuit of love stand firm against the pressure of wealth and status? As doubts swirled, Jack realized the answer lay in his next choice, one that might change everything. Jack's heart raced as he spun around, his gaze darting through the crowd. The laughter and chatter faded, leaving only the sound of his own heartbeat echoing in his ears. He had to find Lily. The client meeting could wait. Pushing through the mass of well-dressed bodies gliding effortlessly across the polished ballroom floor, Jack felt a crack of determination ignite within him. He envisioned her smile the way it lit up even the darkest corners of his life. With every step he took, the weight of his family's expectations felt less suffocating and more like a challenge he could face. Finally he spotted her. Her vibrant clothes were unmistakable even among the sea of formal attire. She was standing across the street from the grand venue, her hands wrapped tightly around a bouquet of wildflowers she had picked herself. The downpour had drenched her, hair sticking to her cheeks, yet there she stood, a storm of beauty and strength defying the chaos around her. "Lily!" he shouted, running toward her, the world fading away. Her head whipped around, eyes wide with surprise. Relief and confusion clashed on her face as the distance between them closed. "I was looking for you," he breathed, standing in front of her, soaked and panting. "What are you doing here, Jack?" she asked, shocked yet hopeful. I wanted to talk to you," he said urgently, searching for the right words to convey everything he felt. "I pushed you away, thinking it was for the best. But it was completely selfish. I care about you, more than I have for anyone in a long time." Her expression softened but doubt lingered in her gaze. "You don't understand. Your world is different from mine. People like us, we don't end up together. Your family, they won't accept it." Jack stepped closer, sincerity glowing in his eyes. "What if I don't care? I don't want to be defined by my family's expectations. I want to be with you, Lily. This is what makes me feel alive." His words resonated in the chilly air. In that moment, the rain ceased, and he could see the guarded wall around her beginning to crumble. "But I can't just walk into your world," she managed, fighting back emotion. "You'd be giving up a lot for me. I don't want to drag you down." "Lily," he said, taking her hands in his, "you're everything I want. I'm tired of chasing things that don't matter. Being at that gala felt like I was suffocating. I want us to explore what we could be together." Tears brimmed in her eyes as they clung to each other's hands, a lifeline between two worlds that felt miles apart. Jack felt his heart swell with hope, maybe love could bridge that gap. But just as he believed they might find their way, a voice sliced through their intimacy. "Jack! What are you doing?" His mother's command was laden with shock and disappointment, her perfectly manicured nails gripping her handbag. Behind her, a cluster of disapproving family members stood like sentinels, eyes narrowed as they assessed the unexpected scene before them. Jack turned to face her, the warmth of Lily's hands quivering in his grasp. His stomach churned, conflict threatening to tear him apart. He could feel the pulse of judgment radiating off his family, ready to condemn him for this connection he fought so hard to defend. Could love truly conquer all? In that moment, standing between the girl who made him feel and the family whose approval dictated his life, Jack realized the next choice he had to make would define not only his future but also the very core of who he was. With the weighty silence of his family pressing in around them, he took a deep breath. Would he let Lily go for the sake of comfort and tradition, or would he fight against the storm? His heartbeat thundered in his ears as he stared at the unwavering determination in Lily's eyes. What should he choose? Jack could feel the air grow heavy, the tension crackling like electricity around them. His mother's expression was a mixture of horror and disdain, and his heart sank deeper, a pit of anxiety forming in his stomach. He could almost hear the whispers of his family. What will people think? This isn't how things are done. Yet in the midst of all that turmoil, all he could focus on was Lily, the way her brow furrowed with concern and confusion. Her hands were still in his, they felt warm, grounding him when everything around him was spiraling out of control. "Mom, this is Lily," he said, his voice steadying. "I'm not ashamed of being with her. I want her in my life." Shock didn't begin to cover his family's faces. His mother opened her mouth, perhaps to argue or plead, but he wasn't listening anymore. Instead, he surged forward, closer to Lily, drawing on that spark of bravery he never knew he had. "Please, just hear me out," he said, locking eyes with her again. "I know what you're thinking. I understand the risks, but it's not something I can ignore." Lily shook her head. "Jack, it's more than just us. Your family, they don't need to define who I am," he interrupted. Not anymore. I can't live in that shadow. If they can't accept me for what I want, for who I love, then maybe it's time to let go. A bracing silence enveloped them. Behind him, Jack felt his mother's presence shift, her disapproval palpable but somehow distant. The world around them blurred under the weight of their moment. He didn't know if he was being reckless or brave, but the love he felt for Lily burned brighter than any fear. But I can't just walk into your world, Lily repeated, her voice trembling. What if they never accept me? Then they'll miss out on something beautiful. And so will I, he replied, gripping her hands tighter. Lily, you bring a light to my life that I can't ignore. You make me want to be better. I'd rather fight for us than conform to everyone else's expectations. Jack stepped back slightly, scanning the crowd of disapproving faces behind his mother. Look around, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. These people, he gestured broadly, they're not who I am. They're just a part of my past. You are my present. You're my future. Lily's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Jack, you don't know how much this means to me, she hesitated. But it's not just about us. It's your life, your future. Can we really ask your family to accept this? As if on cue, Jack's mother took a step forward, the resolve crackling again. Jack, this is madness. You know the path you're meant to take. Think of your father's legacy. This is not who we are. No, Jack replied, heart pounding. This is who I want to be. I can't follow a path filled with resentment and regret. The tension hung in the air, thick and heavy like the rain that had just passed. It was a moment of reckoning, a crossroads for both Jack and Lily. Would they risk everything for love, or would societal expectations pull them apart? Jack's gaze never left Lily's, he recognized the fight reflected in her eyes, too. So, what now? He whispered, the question hanging like a lifeline between them. Before she could respond, his mother's voice cut through. You will come home with me this instant, Jack. You know what's at stake. He clutched Lily's hands tighter, the chaos raging around him fading into a singular focus. And then it hit him, what if this was the moment? The moment that defined them, that defined him. Steeling himself, Jack took a step back, fully aware of the line he was crossing, his heart racing for a whole different reason. Then I am not coming back, he declared, challenging the fear that loomed over them like a dark cloud. Lily's eyes widened. Was it hope? Disbelief? Jack swallowed hard, knowing the next seconds could change everything. Was he ready to walk away from everything he'd known? Jack's heart raced, his breath catching as the reality of his words sank in. The crowd around them shifted, the weight of his declaration hanging like a thick fog. His mother's face twisted in a mixture of outrage and anguish, while the murmurs from relatives buzzed like angry wasps, desperate to sting. Jack, don't do this. She pleaded, stepping closer, her voice low and fierce. You'll ruin everything we've built. You'll regret it. But all he could hear was the warmth radiating from Lily's hands, the certainty in her grasp. She was his anchor, and despite the storm brewing around them, he felt a flicker of hope. I don't care about legacy, he countered, shaking his head. What's the point of a life built on expectations if I'm miserable? I refuse to live someone else's dream. Lily's eyes, wide and glistening with tears, seemed to search for something, a confirmation, perhaps. He squeezed her hands tighter, signaling that he was all in. Jack, she breathed, her voice a soft plea, this is insane. You're talking about turning your back on your entire life. I'm talking about choosing my life, Lily. The one I want. The silence that followed was suffocating. Jack could sense everyone holding their breath, waiting for him to back down, but doubt slipped away. This was a defining moment. He felt the thick, warm air around them, charged with something electric. Can you really leave your family? Lily whispered, her voice trembling with uncertainty. I can if it means standing up for us. I can if it means finding happiness. His voice was steady, but inside, a whirlpool of emotions crashed against each other. The fear of cutting ties, of facing the unknown, spiraled through him, yet he pressed onwards. For the first time, I feel free when I'm with you. His mother squinted as if trying to decipher a puzzle. What about your father's name? What about the family's reputation? You'll be making a mistake that cannot be undone. Her voice softened slightly. How can you throw all of that away? Because the price of that legacy might be my heart. Jack's throat tightened, as he fought the emotion clawing at him. And if my heart belongs with Lily, then it's worth every ounce of sacrifice. They don't see the real me. They see their plans and expectations. Jack turned towards Lily, whose face was a mixture of anguish and admiration. Lily, I want you to know this isn't just about breaking free. It's about building something new, something real. He stepped forward, creating a bubble where it was just the two of them. The cacophony around them seemed muted, as if the world outside faded away. What if they hate me? Lily whispered, that flicker of fear creeping back into her eyes. Then they hate me for loving you, and that's a risk I'm willing to take. Jack's heart thundered in his chest as he faced her, the raw truth spilling from his lips. You matter to me, more than anything. And in that moment, Lily's expression shifted, determination flickered through her eyes, ignited by his words. She leaned forward, closing the small distance between them, and for a heartbeat, the outside world ceased to exist. But then reality crashed back. The whispers in the crowd grew louder, a riptide pulling at Jack's resolve. He caught sight of his mother, her eyes glistening with tears, and it broke something inside him. Will you come with me? He asked, directing his question to Lily like a lifeboat amidst the swirling chaos. Her breath caught, a million thoughts flowed through her eyes. Could she truly leave her old life behind? But as she gazed into his pleading eyes, Jack felt the warmth of possibility wrap around them. Jack, she said softly, fear evident in her voice. What if we can't make it work? Jack smiled, his heart steadying for the first time. Then we'll figure it out together. With that, Jack could feel a new beginning emerging, a thread of hope unraveling the heavy ties of expectation. But just as they began to find their footing, a stern voice cut through the moments of possibility. You are being foolish. His mother exclaimed, her tone sharp and final. You will regret this. As the world around them swirled with tension and whispers, Jack knew there was no going back. Maybe, he replied, the weight of their love heavy in the air. But I'd rather take the plunge than never know. They stood there, bound by love yet pressed by uncertainty, wondering what tomorrow would bring. But could they truly forge a future built on love against such fierce opposition? The tension in the air shifted as Jack braced himself for the storm that could follow, heart thumping in his chest like a drum. His mother stood there, a stormy expression on her face that suggested she was struggling between fury and deep sorrow. It felt like her emotions were pouring over him, heavy and relentless. Your father would be heartbroken to see you like this, she said, a tremor in her voice. Jack noticed a slight crack in her facade, and it made him falter for just a moment. Did she really care? Or was it just about family pride? I can't be a shadow of someone else's expectations anymore, Mom. I need to live my own life, he replied, his voice trembling as emotion constricted his throat. The words felt both empowering and terrifying. Lily's grip tightened around his hands as she leaned in closer, their breaths mingling in the tense silence. Jack could see the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes, but it was mixed with an emerging bravery. Her presence wrapped around him like a security blanket, warm and reassuring. Maybe I could give it a try, she murmured half to herself, just loud enough for Jack to hear. His heart surged with hope. They could face this together, could reshape the course of their lives. But the tension in the crowd was palpable, like a drawn bowstring ready to snap. The whispers turned into soft gasps, the collective breath of a family shocked and appalled. You can't just walk away, his aunt hissed from the sidelines, as if she had suddenly spoken for everyone. Do you really think she's worth it? Jack felt a rush of anger flood through him, mixed with a desperate protective instinct. He turned to Lily, seeing the hurt etched on her face. They don't know you, he shot back, his voice rising above the murmurs. You're so much more than they could ever see. You deserve more than whispering judgments. Lily's face softened as she searched his gaze, and in that moment, Jack knew he had to be strong for both of them. His voice dropped to a fierce whisper meant only for her. You are worth it, Lily, every single part of it. His mother took a step back, almost as if she were reeling from a blow. You're throwing your life away for a momentary phase, Jack. You think you're in love, but this, she gestured between them as if to physically erase their connection, is a childish fantasy. Wake up. His chest tightened painfully. Could it truly be? Was it nothing but a fleeting illusion? But then he thought of the laughter they shared, the late-night talks full of dreams, and the way his heart leapt in her presence. I'm awake, Mom, he replied firmly. More awake than I've ever been. And if I'm taking a leap, it's because I believe in something real. He turned to Lily, his gaze steady. Do you believe in us? Her eyes sparkled with tears, revealing a truth too large to ignore. I want to, she whispered. It was small but powerful, a quiet promise amidst the turmoil surrounding them. As Jack held her hand, he felt the tide outside threaten to unleash itself. The crowd had shifted, the expectation hanging heavy, but there was something electric in their connection. A force that could either break them or bind them tighter. Jack, you can't seriously think of moving forward with this, his mother insisted, her voice colder now, desperate to reclaim attention. You think love is enough? Love doesn't pay the bills. Jack narrowed his eyes. Love is everything. It's what gives life meaning. I won't let anyone take that away from me. With each word, he felt a surge of courage. The path ahead might be rocky, but with Lily by his side, he was ready to step forward into the unknown. Their love was young, fragile, yet clung tightly together against the world. Then let us do it, Lily declared, her voice no longer trembling, but strong and defiant. Just as Jack was ready to embrace the change, his mother stepped forward again, desperation etched in her features. I won't let you make this mistake, Jack. I won't let you ruin your future. Jack braced himself, sensing the final blow would be painful. Maybe you need to let me find my own future, but before he could finish, a sharp gasp rippled through the crowd. With a quick glance behind him, Jack saw the expression on Lily's face shift from determination to something else entirely. What is it, Lily? He asked, but before she could respond, her gaze locked onto something beyond his shoulder. The weight of the moment hung heavily in the air as everyone froze, caught in a taut web of emotion and anticipation. What could possibly break the fragile tension hanging over them? Jack turned, heart racing once again, wondering what new challenge lay before him. Would it storm or would the sun break through? He felt it, the rush of uncertainty and hope as the moment paused, suspended, waiting to erupt. Jack spun around, his pulse quickening as he faced whatever had caused the shift in Lily's expression. The crowd seemed to hold its breath, and a suffocating silence enveloped them. He caught sight of his younger sister, Emma, her eyes wide and frightened, clearly pointing at something behind him. Jack, look! Emma's voice broke through the tension, thin and shaky. With a sudden jolt of anxiety, he turned back. In the doorway stood an uninvited guest, his father, the man who had been absent from their lives for years, looking every bit like the ghost of memories wrapped in harsh reality. Jack's heart dropped. The man who had walked away from their family stood before him, tense and uncertain, dressed in a suit that looked as neat as it was out of place. What are you doing here? Jack gasped, his mind racing as confusion and anger surged within him. He had built a life away from the shadow of that surname, away from the legacy of disappointment. I came to talk, his father said, his voice steady but laced with an edge of vulnerability. Jack could see lines of age pulled taut across his father's forehead, eyes darting nervously over the assembled family, as if weighing their judgment. Talk. After all this time. Jack didn't care that his voice cracked. What right do you think you have? Lily squeezed his hand tightly, grounding him, but Jack felt a whirlwind of emotions pressing against him. The repercussions of this surprise entrance, from disbelief to unresolved pain, were crashing within him. I know I failed you, his father continued, swallowing hard. But I've spent years trying to understand why I walked away, and I realized I can't change the past. But I'd like to try and make things right if you'll let me. Make things right? Jack echoed incredulously, anger spilling into disbelief. How can you say that now, when you were never there for us? For me? He felt the passion ignite within him again, his resolve strengthening in the face of his father's unexpected appearance. He wanted to yell, to confront the ghost of abandonment that had etched itself into his heart, but Lily's presence kept him tethered, reminding him of the importance of choice. You think showing up now gives you a free pass? You don't get to come back and pretend you care when you never did, Jack spat, the heat of the moment bearing down on him. Lily stepped slightly in front of him, her eyes fierce. Jack, can we just hear him out? If he really wants to change, doesn't he deserve a chance? Jack could feel the grounding strength in her suggestion, but the conflict within him raged. He didn't want to be the person he had been. Open to reconciliation meant walking a tightrope, a dangerous balance between hope and skepticism. Listen, his father said, more firmly this time, I know I have no right to ask anything of you. But life has a way of making us see the truth. I want to make amends. I've been doing some work to change, and I want to help you now. The whispers began anew in the crowd, rippling through the assembled family, cutting through the palpable tension. Jack's heart raced. Was it sympathy he saw on their faces, or disdain? Cold judgment? What you want doesn't matter to me, Jack said, feeling as if he stood on a precipice. This moment could make or break everything. Not now, not after everything. Jack, his mother interjected, her voice sharper, you have every right to be hurt. But family, it's what we turn to, even in tough times. You owe it to yourself to explore this. At the cusp of making a decision, Jack felt the weight of expectations crashing around him. The tide of opinions rose like a storm, but it was Lily's grasp on his hand that brought back clarity. Do you believe in second chances? He asked her softly, his voice just above a whisper, a mix of vulnerability and strength. Her eyes sparkled again, but this time, they glimmered with something deeper. I do, she replied, her voice steady, but they have to come from the heart, Jack. Will your heart be open? Just then, the air crackled with uncertainty as Jack found himself poised between hurt and hope, between a very uncertain past and an unclear future. Would he embrace the opportunity for reconciliation, or would he shut the door on a part of himself he thought he'd buried? As emotions collided, he felt the breeze outside whip through the trees, foreshadowing the storm, asking him a question: could he really find peace both with his father and in his heart? In that pivotal moment, everything hung in the balance. What would he decide? Would he take this chance or turn his back forever? Jack's throat tightened as he grappled with the weight of his father's gaze. Years of hurt and resentment painted every detail of the man standing before him, yet here he was, finally articulating a wish to be part of their lives again. The crowd shifted, whispers weaving a blanket of uncertainty that clung to Jack's skin. I just want one more chance, Jack, his father pressed, his voice a mixture of desperation and humility. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just a moment to show you I've changed. The desperation in his father's eyes tugged at something deep within Jack. Could he really give this man, this incomplete stranger, a chance? Jack could feel Lily's presence, her gentle warmth keeping him anchored. Why should I trust you? Jack shot back, the anger boiling beneath his skin. You just disappeared and expected us to move on as if everything was fine. It wasn't fine, it was hell. Believe me, I know. I've lived with the regret for too long. His father's voice came out raw, as if each word was a scar reopening. I've been working in therapy. I know it won't fix everything, but I want to try. Jack's breath hitched. The cynic in him fought hard against the flicker of hope that tried to penetrate his heart. Do you not see how you shattered our family? Jack challenged, feeling the anger burn at the edges of his determination. Emma was just a kid, and Mom, she held everything together alone. I know, his father responded, his voice straining against the tide of emotions flowing forth. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to listen, and to understand the pain I caused. Closing his eyes for a moment, Jack tried to suppress the storm within. He recalled the countless nights when he and Emma had lain awake, wondering what their father was doing, why he hadn't stayed. The emptiness had been a ghost in their lives, present yet never seen. Stand in my shoes for a moment, Jack said, his voice barely more than a whisper. What do you expect me to say? Sure, come back. Let's have a family barbecue together. It doesn't work that way. I know it doesn't, his father replied, gesturing helplessly. But I want to understand you, both of you, if you'll let me. Just a chance to talk. I owe you that much. Tension crackled in the air like static electricity. Lily squeezed Jack's hand tighter, her face a mix of empathy and caution. Jack, just listen for a moment. What if we gave him a chance to share? Maybe you can ask him all the things you've kept bottled up inside. Emma nodded slightly, her wide eyes searching Jack's face. The hope in her expression was a knife to Jack's heart. He opened his eyes, searching his father's face for the man he once knew. He hadn't anticipated feeling this way, torn between hatred and longing, between despair and a faint flicker of hope. Taking a deep breath, Jack forced himself to speak. Okay, talk. But I swear if you try to pull any more of your crap, I won't hold back. His father visibly relaxed, the tension in his shoulders easing for the first time since stepping through that door. I understand, he said quietly. I expect nothing less. I just want to make sure you're both okay, that you're not alone anymore. The crowd around them quieted, their gaze shifting from Jack to his father, curiosity mixed with unease. As Jack wrestled with his emotions, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point, a moment where he could either forge a new path or plunge deeper into darkness. Would he take a first step towards healing, or would he retreat back into the fortress he'd built against the world? With everything hanging in the balance, Jack had to decide, was he ready to unlock the door to a past that had haunted him for so long? Jack felt the weight of the world pressing down on him. The air was thick with tension, but every heartbeat echoed with the chance for something new. He didn't want to give in. He didn't want to be swayed by his father's emotional plea. But the flicker of hope ignited inside him was like a small flame in a dark room. Fine, he muttered through clenched teeth. You get to talk. But it doesn't change anything yet. His father nodded, a flicker of gratitude in his eyes, and began to speak. First, let me say I'm sorry. I can't express how deeply sorry I am for leaving you, for breaking our family apart. I was lost, caught up in my own struggles, blinded by my own pain. But that doesn't excuse what I did. Jack swallowed hard, trying to keep his skepticism in check. He glanced at Emma, whose eyes held a mix of worry and curiosity, then back at their father. You think telling me you're sorry is enough? What about Mom? Did you ever think about her when you walked out? I did, his father admitted, voice trembling. Every single day. I was a coward. I let my fear dictate my choices. Jack couldn't help but feel the weight of those words. Coward. The word echoed in his mind, making him grapple with the conflicting emotions swirling within. Fear. You had a family. Jack couldn't contain the fire in his words. You chose to run. You didn't even try. Do you have any idea what it was like for us? Believe me, I can't forget, his father responded, tears brimming in his eyes. And I want to make it up to you both. This isn't about my comfort anymore, it's about being there for you. For Emma. I want you to know that I'm serious about changing. Jack, still incredulous, felt Lily's hand squeeze his tighter, reminding him not to shut down completely. Why now? He asked bluntly. What's changed? Too much time has passed. I don't want another moment to go by without trying to mend this, his father replied earnestly. I've realized that running away won't make it better. I need to face my past and hopefully, be part of your future. Your future? Just like that? No. Jack snapped, his heart racing with frustration. It doesn't happen this easily. You think it's just a light switch? You come back, and boom, family. It doesn't work like that. Right, his father acknowledged. I know it won't be easy or quick. I'm not asking for instant love or trust. I want to rebuild. You deserve that chance, and I do too. For a long moment, silence engulfed them. Jack could feel the eyes of onlookers boring into him, their faces reflecting a myriad of curious emotions. Would they judge him for wanting to hear his father out? Would they understand what this really meant? Emma's voice broke through the tension, soft but steady. What if we start small? Just talking, maybe we can share our stories. And if we still don't trust him, we have the right to walk away. Jack's heart ached at her suggestion. The innocent hope in her voice pierced through the layers of hurt. You think so? He asked, looking at her. Yeah. I mean, what if he really has changed? She reasoned, her eyes hopeful. He wanted to protest, but what if, deep inside, he too was ready to consider this dark path illuminated by a hint of light? Jack could feel the internal battle raging like a storm inside him. Fine, he said begrudgingly, but on my terms. This isn't a free pass. If you screw this up again. Jack didn't finish the thought, but the promise hung in the air, heavy with expectation. His father nodded, visibly shaken but resolved. As they spoke, the distant sound of sirens echoed through the streets, hinting at the chaos of life that continued outside their circle. This moment held so much weight, yet the world kept turning, indifferent to their struggle. Jack took a deep breath, grappling with the crossroads before him. Could he really let a sliver of hope into his life again? Could they repair the unrepairable? And as Jack peered into his father's eyes, searching for sincerity, a thought struck him. Was this a chance to heal, a chance he never knew he wanted? Would they find the strength together to face their past? Or would they tumble back into the chasm of unhealed wounds? Jack could feel the knot in his stomach twist tighter as he looked at his father. The weight of the words hung in the air like a dense fog, clinging to him as he tried to establish if this was really the moment that might change everything. He could hardly breathe. Was he giving in, or was he simply allowing a flicker of hope to dance on the embers of a broken past? His father took a step closer, as if trying to close the distance that had stretched between them for years. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, he repeated, but I'm here. Please hear me out. Jack clenched his fists, feeling the urge to walk away simmering just beneath the surface. He was aided by Emma, who shifted beside him. Maybe, she whispered, just let him talk. Fine, Jack relented, but every fiber in his being was on alert, still ready to pull away at any wrong word. Talk. His father seemed to gather himself, breathing in before speaking again. I've thought about the mistakes I've made. Leaving was the cowardly way out. I thought if I walked away, things would get better for everyone, but I ruined it instead. I know I can't grasp that feeling of loss, but I want to face it with you both now. Jack closed his eyes, an overwhelming rush of emotions crashing into him like waves. Each wave dragged memories with it: the birthday parties missed, the holidays spent in cold silence, the endless searching for answers when all he found was void. How could he let himself relive all that hurt? The silence returned, thick and heavy, almost suffocating. He needed something to break it, some release. Have you been seeing anybody? Jack blurted out, a reckless question that sent a flicker of surprise across his father's face. "No," he replied, his eyes wide. "I've been working on myself, focusing on understanding who I am and what I've done. I just want to be a better person. For you too." Jack shook his head, a sharp laugh escaping him. "Isn't that convenient? You want to be a better man only after you walked out. Don't you see how that sounds? I'm not asking for your compassion. I'm asking for a chance to earn your trust back," his father said, regret painting his voice. "It won't happen overnight, and I know I've got to prove myself." He paused, glancing at Emma. "Both of you. I can't explain how much I want to be part of this family again." And then, like a weight being lifted, a truth bubbled up in Jack's chest. Right now, a small part of him wanted to give this a chance. Was it crazy? Could he dare to hope? Emma's hand slipped into his, breaking his turbulent thoughts. What if we set boundaries? Let us make it clear what we need from him. I think we owe it to ourselves to try. Jack glanced at her, a rush of warmth washing over him. She had always been the light in the dark, shining guidance where he felt lost. Maybe this was what he needed, a step, a spark. Okay, he nodded slowly, but this isn't a free pass. You do one thing wrong, and we're done. The determination in his voice was clear. His father swallowed hard, but a sense of relief washed over his features. That's fair. I'm ready for the challenge. I want to be better. I just hope it's not too late. Jack's heartbeat quickened at the prospect of reconciliation, wondering if it was really a beginning or just an extension of the fracture. But beneath that fear, an uneasy thrill pushed through his veins. As they began to talk about what the next steps would look like, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows on the pavement, almost mirroring the uncertainty that loomed over them. Jack still wasn't sure about this unexpected journey, but as soft laughter began to fill the air, he started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, they could find a way to brave those shadows together. And then in a moment of silence, a question lingered in his mind. Would they be able to confront the remnants of their past and truly rebuild their family, or would old ghosts shatter their fragile hope all over again? The heavy curtain of emotion shifted as Jack stood at a precipice, looking into eyes filled with a mixture of apprehension and hope. It felt surreal, like staring into a mirror reflecting a life he thought he'd buried. But here was his father, not the ghost he'd evoked in anger but a man who wanted a chance to build something new. Let us start from the beginning, Jack said, his voice steadying, surprising even himself. What do you really want? What does it mean to you to come back? His father paused, visibly gathering himself. I want to show you that I can be more than just a memory, he said. I want to help heal the wounds I caused, for both of you. Jack exchanged glances with Emma, who was silently rooting for him. Lily stood beside him, grounding his swirling thoughts. It felt less like a confrontation now and more like an exploration of possibility. As Jack listened, he couldn't help but press further. This won't be easy. You don't get to waltz back in just because you think you've figured it out. We've lived with the emptiness long enough. I know, his father replied, voice breaking. I'm not asking for easy. I'm prepared to put in the work. Every single day. Jack felt something shift in the air, a teetering on the edge of resolution. The walls he'd built around his heart began to crack, tentative at first. They spent hours talking, slowly unraveling years of silence. Jack learned that his father had been in therapy, weaving tales of struggling to understand the man he lost to his own fears. And with every word, Jack's anger began to morph, blending with the aching desire to connect. Slowly, he could feel the chains of resentment loosening, cracks forming in their icy barrier. Emma was quiet, absorbing each fragment of their father's story. When she finally spoke, it was full of strength. You can be the dad we needed, but that can't just be wishes and good intentions. We need actions every day. Agreed. Jack nodded, the frustration that had lingered beginning to fade away. We need to see you try. I promise to show you, his father responded, sincerity in his eyes. At that moment, the sun broke through gray clouds. Light streamed in, illuminating their faces with warmth. Fresh hope ignited in Jack's heart, intertwining with the memories of laughter and family dinners lost to time. He felt a flutter of butterflies, a sensation he hadn't experienced in ages. Maybe we could have a family dinner," Emma suggested hesitantly, her voice breaking through the hesitation. "Just to start." Jack felt the apprehension flicker in the air as he glanced at Lily, who nodded, a bright smile illuminating her face. "That sounds good. Just take it slowly. One step at a time." It was as if a sigh of relief swept through their corners, uniting them in possibility. Jack turned to his father, the weight of judgment still lingering but softened by hope. "Do you want this? Because it'll take everything you have." His father gulped, determination etched deeply in his features. "Yes. I want all of it. To be part of your lives again. I want to earn your trust, piece by piece." And just like that, the night air shifted into something lighter, almost electric, a promise of a new beginning. Jack felt the sting of tears prick at the corners of his eyes, emotion swirling within him. "Then let us do it," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "This is the first step." With an invisible thread of connection weaving them closer, they sat together under that low-hanging sun, emotions ebbing and flowing. Jack felt buoyed by hope and the intoxicating allure of second chances. And who knew? Maybe someday they would gather around the table, just like before, but this time filled with laughter and light, reborn from all they had survived together. Later, as shadows lengthened and the stars blinked into existence, Jack wrapped his arms around Lily, leaning into their shared warmth. "I can't lose you along the way," he murmured. "You won tea." "I'm here," she replied, her voice steady. Jack looked over at Emma, who watched them with hope glimmering in her eyes. This was just the beginning, and together, they would brave whatever storms lay ahead. They were family becoming anew, learning from wounds, and crafting a future colored with love. As Jack took a deep breath, he felt something sparkle within him, transforming the past into something beautiful. If love could conquer all, here was proof in the making. Jack knew this moment wouldn't fade. And at last, peace draped itself like a comforting blanket over all of them, one they could cling to as they stepped out into the unknown future. Now, the call to action for everyone tuned in: you need to subscribe now. Don't miss your chance to see more heartwarming transformations like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread these incredible stories. And comment below your thoughts and feelings about this thrilling ending. Finally, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support drives the channel, so show up for your favorites today.